Hey kids, it's your boy Rave. I want you to do me a favor before you start this video. Back out, look down, you'll see the little red flag that says subscribe. Right next to that is a bell. Now I'm being told a lot of people aren't getting notified when I do a new video or song or review. So hit that little bell there so you can get notified for all the great things here from the Blackbird Studios. Thank you, and let's get on with the show.
From the world-famous Blackbird Studios, it's the Rave X podcast. And now, Rave X.
Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rave X. Welcome to my podcast, the Rave X Podcast. My producer, T Money, always doing an amazing job.
Thanks, bro.
Boy, have I got a story for you today, man. Episode 28, Roommate Nightmare. Yeah, you know, when we were in our 20s, we all used to have roommates, right? And sometimes it was fun, you could hang out, and if you were lucky, your roommates were good people and they were musicians and you could jam and all that stuff. Well, one of my good roommates moved out, and we were kind of behind the eight ball here. We needed someone quick, so we got this guy, and I believe his name was Frank. Yeah, you know, a lot of people say you shouldn't use real people's names. Fuck him, he's a horrible person. Here's what happened with Frank. So I'm out at work. My girlfriend's home waiting for me, you know, hanging out at the house. It was a day off. And this is back when, you know, everyone's girlfriend and your boyfriend would always be around the house and stuff, and everybody trusted everyone. So it was really no big deal. So my girlfriend's home. I'm at work. I come through the door, and I go for the doorknob, and my door to my room is locked. And I'm like, what? So I knock on the door. My girlfriend answers the door, and she's all crazy-eyed. Like, she's like, come in, come in, come in. I come in. She closes the door, and then she tells me this crazy story. She tells me how she came home from getting something to eat, and Frank was there. Now, Frank was about 6'5", tall, sort of Herman Munster-looking motherfucker, right? And he's talking to her, and they're talking, you know, and they're in the kitchen. And then he says, oh, do you like this band, right? Now, she played in a rock band. She was a singer in a rock band. And she's like, yeah, that band's cool. And he's like, oh, yeah, I just got their CD. You want to listen to it? And she's like, yeah, sure. Now, we didn't really know Frank that well. He'd only been there for about 2 months at this point. But, you know, we all tried to get along. So, she goes upstairs to his room. He pops on a CD, and they're listening to this band. I don't even know who it was, right? And then he's like, oh, do you want a beer? And she says, no, I don't drink. He's like, oh, okay, yeah. This music's pretty good, huh? And she starts to get a creepy vibe, like, all right, this is kind of weird right now. And he gets up out of the chair, and he sits down next to her on the bed. And he's like, so, tell me about your band. And she's getting really freaked out, and she's trying to be nice. And she's like, oh, you know what, I think I should probably get going. I think Rave's coming home soon. And he's like, no, you know, the CD's almost over. We're going to hear another couple of songs, you know. And she's like, yeah, one more song, and then I should get going because, you know, Rave's coming home. And then he leans over, and he tries to make out with my girlfriend. Now, the story came from her, and it's true, and I'll tell you how I know that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyway, he leans over, and he starts trying to make out with my girlfriend. Now, he wasn't being forceful or trying to hit her, but that doesn't matter, right? A woman doesn't want it, a woman doesn't want it, and as a man, you need to learn to back the F off, right? So she gets up, and she's like, all right, guy, you know what? That's enough. I'm out of here. She runs out of the room. He's like, no, I'm sorry. No, hey, you know what? Hey, it's okay. She runs down to the bedroom, my room, goes in, locks herself in there, like literally put a chair against the door, barricaded herself in. And that's where I come in. That's when I knocked on the door, and the door was locked. So she tells me the story. And I look at her, and I go, are you absolutely sure that this is how the story went down? And it wasn't that I didn't believe her. I knew what had to happen next, so I need to make sure that she was telling me the 100% God's honest truth. And I could tell by the look on her face that, yes, this is what happened. She went up there to hang out, thinking he was a cool guy, and he tried to put the moves on her. So, I'm sitting there, man, and I'm in a bit of a bad way now because I know that he has to go. Because my girlfriend would be there from time to time. My roommate, Mike, his girlfriend would be there from time to time. My other roommate, Dave, his girlfriend would be there. You get the point. Now, if we got ourselves a goddamn predator in the house, you guts to go. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not sorry. You have to go. Because we're not going to have our girlfriends there by ourselves, and Mr. Big Time wannabe rapist is running around the house looking for victims. So I decided that this guy needs to go, and he kind of needs to go within the next, 48 hours, right? So I called my girlfriend a cab, told her, you should stay at home tonight. We got to handle some business. So I wait for my other roommate to get home. He's a good guy, man. We played in a band. We used to work together. We were roommates for a few years. Very trusted confidant. So he comes home. We're in the room. I'm talking to him. I'm telling him what's happening. And he believes me, man. And he's like, damn, that's insane. So what do you want to do? And I'm thinking, we have to go confront him on this, right? So I grab a bat. My other roommate grabs a stick that he had. And we go up to his door, man. And we're standing in front of his door. And we came up with the plan of, I didn't want to freak him out to the point where he's going to start swinging, or he's going to pull a knife, or he's going to grab a stick or a bat. Because we really didn't know this guy, man. And you never really do know someone, do you? Even when they live in your house. So I said to my roommate, all right, buddy, you wait here, outside the door. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to talk to him, and I'm going to get his side of the story. Now, regardless of what he says, he gets to go. So just hang out here. I'm not going to close the door. And if you hear some shit going down, run in, and we're just going to have to take this guy out. Survival of the fittest, man. So my roommate agreed that was a good plan, and that's what he did. So I knock on his door. He looks at me, and I can tell by his face he knows the conversation we're about to have. He knows what he did. And I walk in, and I make sure to stand about 20 feet away from him. You guys know, your boy Rave's a kung fu master. But this was a tall, 6-foot-something dude. And I figured if I had to take him out, it was going to have to be a skip kick, right? That's when you skip from sort of one side of the room to the next. You all have seen Bruce Lee do it. You can really take out someone twice your size with that kick. And that's what my plan was. So we're talking. He seems pretty calm. He sits down. He's very non-threatening and docile. His hands are sort of by his side. And I said, Trish told me that you invited her up to your room to listen to a CD. And after a couple of songs, you sat down next to her, and you leaned over and tried to make out with her, man. Kind of forceful, try to force your tongue down my girlfriend's throat. I just want to hear your side of the story, man, because if that's true, you need to get the hell up out of here. And I never forget this, man. He looks at me, and I'm expecting him to start begging and saying, no, that's not what happened. It's a misunderstanding. He looks at me, stone-faced, no expression, and he says, well, what do you want me to say? And I was shocked. What do you want me to say? Like, Jesus. Say you're sorry, you goddamn sociopath. And he looks at me and he's like, yeah, I had a few drinks. I was listening to the music. And, Trish is a pretty girl. And I leaned over and I tried to make out with her, man. What do you want me to say? And I said, all right, look. I appreciate you being honest. But here's the thing. You have to leave this house now. Now, it's the 25th of the month. So let's just chalk it up to you paid your rent and utilities for the month, but you need to go. And he looks at me and he goes, well, if it helps any, I was planning on leaving in a couple of months anyway. And I said, nah, brother, man, see, that's not going to work because we got women in the house. And once word spreads what happened, ain't no one going to want you here. So I'm talking to you nicely that you need to go. But you better hope my other roommate doesn't come home because he's just going to bash your face in. Now, I'm trying to be gentlemanly to you, even though you're trying to, assault my girlfriend here. And he looked at me and he said, when do you want me out? And I said, bro, honestly, I want you out now, but I'm trying to be civilized about this shit. So how about this? By tomorrow, midnight, you need to be out of this house. And he looked at me and I realized he had no place to go. And look, even though this guy was kind of a bad dude, I still kind of felt bad for him, you know what I mean? He didn't really have any family, didn't really have any friends. He was kind of a loner. And I'm like, look, stay the hell away from my girlfriend and everyone else's girlfriend. In fact, you just need to stay up in your room till tomorrow. But you need to be out of here by tomorrow or I'm calling the police and they're going to escort you out. And he looked at me and he just nodded. And he said, okay, I'll be out tomorrow. So long story short, me and my roommate go back down to the room. We're hanging out. We're talking about the situation, what a messed up situation it is. Do we know anyone else who can move in? And I come home from work the next day. And me and my other roommate, we had our doors open so we could see what was going on. Now, I told my girlfriend not to come back over for a few days until he was out of here, man. I wanted her to be safe, And I remember watching him move out, and he moved out in a cab. He called one of those minivan cabs, and he moved out all his stuff in a cab, just like a mattress he tied to the top and trash bags full of clothes. He didn't really have much stuff, man, like a bed, a couple of chairs, and a dresser, so he just moved out. I don't know where he went, and I don't really care where he went, you know what I mean? And after he left, he came back, he gave me the key, and I can't remember if he said sorry or anything, man. He just kind of handed me the key and turned around and walked out, and I'm glad I was able to get the key, you know? So after he leaves, we watch him drive off into the sunset, and me and my roommate go up to his room to sort of clean up the room, you know, because we got another roommate moving in a few days. In his room, guys, I kid you not, he had a big, huge room on the second floor of this sort of duplex that we lived in. And his room was littered with beer cans and pornography. Now, I guess he said, screw it, I'm leaving all the beer cans, and he left all his pornography. And it was like some real gross stuff, dude, like just Penthouse and Swank and all these horrible magazines I never even heard of before. And we had to clean all that crap up, throw it away. And, you know, thank God for us, we never heard from him again. He was just a alcoholic sociopath. And who knows what would have happened, man, if we caught him on a different day. I don't even want to think about it, man. Some horrible, horrible shit could have went down. But that is the last we ever heard of our sociopathic Herman Munster-looking roommate nightmare. Wow. What a story, guys. What a story. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me. My name's Rave X. But kids, do me a favor. I put out a song a couple of weeks ago called Syndrome off of my album Volume 7. Go back, check that out. It's a heck of a song. It's a heck of a video. Thank you for tuning in. You were a great crowd. I was an amazing host. My name's Rave X. This is the Rave X Podcast. And remember this. You are the people you bring with you through life. So choose wisely, my friends. My name's Rave X, and I'm out of here.
That was the Rave X Podcast. Be sure to click like and subscribe. For podcasts, new music, and all things Rave X, go to youtube.com and search Rave X Music.